Hey everyone, so the first thing I'm doing is taking an eyeshadow primer. I've added a little to the back of my hand, then picked up some on my brush, and now I'm adding this to the eye area. So the aim of a primer is to help your shadows to adhere better to the eyes, to last longer, and to blend easier. But if you over apply your primer, it can actually have the opposite effect, which we don't want. So using a brush like this instead of your fingers can help soak up excess product if you've accidentally over applied. I'm really enjoying Wet n Wild's products lately. I'm getting great use out of their palettes in particular, one of which is this one here. It's the Nude Awakening palette. You've got a great range of shades to take you from day to night, and today we are creating a more smoky nighttime look. So the first shadow I'm taking is this burgundy shade, and someone recently asked me for a look not to be rounded, so that's what I'm doing today. Old school followers might remember I like to draw out the shape first, so I draw a line from the outer corner of my eye using the tail of my brow as a stopping point. Then because I've got that line down, I just make sure not to blend my shadows out past that point. I can work on the outer V then much easier now that I've got that guideline. So now I'm taking some more of the eyeshadow, this time on a fluffy blending brush. I'm tapping this down onto the lid very carefully, just patting it down and then sweeping the shadow slightly. I don't want fallout with a colour like this, so I'm being very careful with my placement. Once I have the lid coated, then I'm taking the shadow up into the crease using circular and back and forward sweeping motions to firstly apply the colour there, and then to secondly to diffuse the edges. When I get to that outer corner, I'm making sure not to blend out past that line, and I'm wriggling the brush on the edge just so there's no harsh lines. So I'm just taking some more shadow on my brush now to intensify that colour. What you see now is just 2 applications of that shadow. It doesn't take long or require much effort to get a nice effect, and that's one great thing about these shadows. They're cheap and cheerful, but the quality is superb. Now I'm taking this deep purple metallic shade and I'm adding this over the burgundy just to give a subtle shimmer effect to the lid. I'm using a flat C-shaped brush to pack on the colour, and of course you could use a setting spray or some water on your brush prior to applying the shadow to really make those shimmery particles pop. Once I'm happy with how that looks, I'm going to start working on the crease of the eye again. So I'm taking this deep cool tone transition shade, I'm picking up a little of the shadow on a fluffy blending brush, and I'm working this into the outer V of the eye to deepen up that area. So I'm bringing the shadow up into the crease slightly, but not blending it more than a third of the way in, because I want the darkness kept to the outer portion of the eye. Next then I'm taking some of this black eyeshadow from the palette, and I'm using a small pencil brush to apply this shade. The darker the shadow, the smaller the brush you should use, in my opinion anyway. It'll just stop you from over applying the shadow. We don't want a lot of black, just enough to add some depth and dimension to the eye. And again, as you can see, I'm focusing the shadow on the outer portion of the eye only. Now I'm pressing some of the black along the lash line with my angled brush. It keeps the look nice and smoky, but it still gives us depth along the lash line, and that'll help to hide the lash band of the lashes I'm going to apply in a moment. So now I'm taking a bullet shaped brush and smoking some of that burgundy shadow all the way along the lower lash line, and then I'm switching back to my angled brush now and I'm adding some black right in along the lash line, but again, like above with the black, I'm only applying it a third of the way in, just again keeping the darkness to the outer portion of the eye. Then I'm using a black hole pencil from Collection. I'm closing my eye around the pencil, running it back and forward, and it's coating the top and bottom waterline at the same time. Then I pat some black eyeshadow over the top of the liner because it not only intensifies the black, but the powder eyeshadow also sets the kohl pencil in place, making sure that it lasts longer inside the eye. Now I'm taking this shimmery champagne shade and I'm patting and sweeping this underneath the brow bone to add a nice highlight to that area. And then I'm taking a smaller bullet shaped brush just to add this colour around the tear duct of the eye too. And the kind of rose gold brushes that I've been using, they're actually Wet n Wild as well, and they're great. Next then, I have just added some of the Sosu lashes, and now I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara to blend my own lashes in with the false ones, and then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and found it helpful. If you did, please let me know, and I'll catch you all soon.